So even though I have been soil blocking for years, and I've talked for years and years about my love for soil blocking and how amazing it's been for my business, just because of the sheer amount of plants I can start in my basement, there are some contexts where a cell tray is just better, easier, more convenient. Soil blocks have a learning curve because each little block of soil is surrounded by air on all sides except for the bottom. So you really have to babysit those soil blocks and water them consistently every day, pretty much. Maybe a day and a half you can get away with. So when it comes to warm season crops, your zinnias and sunflowers, things that it would be easier to just plop the seed down in the dirt, water from the top, and have them sitting outside so they're growing in the natural element conditions from the beginning. A seed starting tray is the easiest way to go. And I've actually transitioned to that more for warm season crops just because of the convenience of it. So I think most people, when they learn to start seeds, you're using one of those trays from Lowe's or Home Depot that are a couple of dollars. I have one here. They come with an insert, right? The flimsiest plastic you could possibly buy. The bottom is also flimsy. I've already cracked this one. I don't even know if it has some dirt in it. I don't even know if I've used this. So this is a traditional seed starting tray, what you would get from a big box store. Fine. But if you are in love with growing flowers, growing veggies, and you're going to be starting seeds year after year, I think it's beneficial to invest in some nice seed starting trays. It really bothers me to have this flimsy stuff that cracks. I hate that I cannot load this down and carry it without it cracking once it's full and heavy, full of dirt. So I started looking around for nicer trays that would last years so that I wasn't dumping loads of plastic in the landfill every season. So I have a couple that I really love, one in particular that I love. These are all investment purchases. So the first one I'll talk about is on the cheaper end of things. It's more cost effective. This is a tray from Bootstrap Farmer, and this is the insert. This is a 50 cell tray, so that just means that there are 50 cells here. These come in 72 cells, all the same dimensions, length and width of the tray. So if you're going to fit 72 in that same space, the 72s are smaller. So you end up with a smaller plant or seedling to transplant. But these trays are rigid plastic. And they show a picture on the website of having this thing with a brick on it, and it doesn't crack. So I've got several of these. None of them have cracks in them, and I am abusive. So I absolutely love these trays. They have holes in the bottom for drainage. There are also bottom trays, and I have a link for this. All of my bottom trays are in use right now. I use them constantly. They are also nice, thick, rigid plastic. So I use them for all kinds of things, pre-sprouting anemones and ranunculus, sometimes just broadcasting seed to get things going if I don't need it to be precise. If I need to water from the bottom, you just plop this in the bottom tray, fill it up with water, and it soaks up water from the bottom. So I really love, you can see how much more rigid this is compared to what you would get from a big box store. So these Bootstrap Farmer trays are awesome. And if this is what you were going to invest in, this is a great place to start. I will say though that my favorite tray is something called a Winstrip tray, and Bootstrap Farmer sells, I guess it would be considered a knockoff. They call it an air pruning tray. They only have one size of these, but I got these Winstrip trays from Neversink Farm, and the benefit of a Winstrip tray is this is super rigid plastic. This reminds me more of like Nalgene. You could probably run over it and it would be just fine. The reason that I love the Winstrip tray is because this is like a hybrid between a regular plastic tray and a soil block. So one of the benefits of soil blocking is that when your seedling is growing, the roots come to the edge of the dirt and hit the air and don't like that. So they prune themselves and split and grow back into the dirt. Where in a regular cell tray, like this one, you've bought from the nursery before, if you leave that plant in there too long, the roots just circle the bottom of the plastic. And that just doesn't make the best seedling to transplant. What is wonderful about the Winstrip tray, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, you kind of can. You can see this little slit of light that's coming through each of these cells. So the cells have these nice big open bottoms. You would think that dirt would go right through this. It doesn't. It compacts itself and holds itself in, especially once you have a seedling in here that's got lots of roots. But what's great about the Winstrip tray is that those little slits that you can kind of see in each cell act to help air prune the roots. So rather than there being 4 walls in that cell and the roots circling the cell, there's on opposite sides, so there are 2 slits in the corners of those 4 walls. The roots will hit one of those slits and hit air and prune themselves back into the dirt. So you get this really robust root system rather than them just becoming root bound in the bottom of the cell tray if you leave them too long. So a Winstrip tray is a hybrid of the two. What's great about this, in addition, is that because it's in a cell, you don't have to water these as often as you would have to a soil block. There's just more give. There's more chance to screw up. There's more chance to forget that you have seedlings that you didn't water. So these come from Neversink Farm in multiple sizes. This one is, this is a 128. So again, the dimensions of the length and width of these trays are almost always the same. But the cells in this case, there's 128 of them, so they're smaller. They also have 72s and 50 cells, so that would look more like the size of this tray. So this would give you bigger seedlings. They could sit in the tray longer because there's more dirt there to generate a root system. So I have multiple sizes of these Winstrip trays. These, I think the top price of these are $16 or $18 a tray. That's really expensive if you're a farm and you're investing in a lot of them. So I've just put a little bit into this every season and have invested in more and more of these trays. I love them. I think these will outlast me. I will be willing these to my children and they won't want them probably. But I think they're a wonderful investment. You can use them year after year and you're not sending plastic to the landfill. In addition, you're going to have some really healthy, beautiful seedlings if you are starting flowers or veggies from seed. So that's my 2 cents on cell trays. And I have links for all of these within this article so that if you want to purchase them, go grab your own.